Hey everybody, welcome to the 23rd of July, 2024. I am Connor with Honor, local real estate agent here in Santa Clarita Valley. Today we're going to get to that local market update that we always do every single day. 471 active listings currently on the market. That is an increase over 2 years ago, and we've been watching that trend increase since June of 2021. As we are in now 2024, we are watching as we're starting to see inventory build. The question is going to be, is that going to be enough inventory to change the market from where it is currently in a seller's real estate market and switch the needle over to a buyer's real estate market? Time will tell. That will pan itself out in the next several months. In addition, the interest rate rumor of being lowered has not come to fruition yet, but we're watching. It looks like potentially September could be the time that interest rates might eke down somewhat. If we're watching and interest rates drop more than a point or a point and a half, and that we get down into the fives or even the high fours, what's going to end up happening to the real estate market all across the country, but especially here locally in Santa Clarita Valley, will be a repeat of what we saw in the last super hot cycle, where we had listings fly off the shelves within moments of them being listed for sale. In addition to that, those same real estate listings often went out a lot higher than the actual value that they happened to be established with. Those values, folks, are incredibly important as a real estate seller. As you're listing your property or contemplating it, I understand there is a particular bottom line when it comes to concessions. That's going to be the new term for commissions, or in another term for offerings of monies when it comes to paying the agent that's going to be listing your house. And then, of course, paying the agent that is going to represent the buyer if it happens to be different. Some of the word on the street, they're talking about dual agency. There are several states that actually outlaw the practice of the same agent representing a buyer and a seller on the same property. And they do this in those states apparently for reasons of their own. California still allows for the listing agent to also be the sales agent or sell it to the buyer in this particular state. However, there is also rumors on that stopping that practice. So each individual would have to have their own agent. And I guess in the legal world, when you're talking about sensitive information, private information, an agent knowing the seller's bottom line and then encountering the buyer on the same property, then learning the buyer's bottom line because they're working with said agent, you can see where things might go amiss. Always recommending to have your own real estate agent, your own professional, when you're approaching real estate. And in addition, make sure that you just don't jump into the market because somebody else said it was a good idea. Make sure you line up your facts as to what makes best sense to you. You're going to want to get those people that are going to be living in the residence with you, in addition, and also go and meet those neighbors before you start getting too deep into escrow after you've established that you've secured the property with the offer that you've written. It's good advice because it's important to know those neighbors that are going to eventually or could potentially impact your property. The ones that are going to be behind, the ones that are going to be next to, and of course the ones that are across the street. It's nice to take you and your entire people, everybody that's going to be in the residence, and maybe even those visiting, over to meet everybody so you can get a good feel as to the neighborhood. And, it's good to know who we're living next to. So make that part of your early process and escrow. And then even before that, when you're looking at houses, make sure that your agent looks at those main things that cost people the most money in residential real estate. And a lot of the things that are most neglected in real estate happens to be the electrical panels, the HVAC systems, which is the heating, air conditioning, and cooling. And then you also have the plumbing. What type is it? When was it put in? And then what kind of leaks have they had since they've owned the residence? If you've had any kind of leaks, you'll know that if you don't get to them quickly, they can create issues like growing mold inside residential walls, depending on humidity levels and the types of mold. We see that from time to time out here in Santa Clarita. So if you're going to be looking at disclosures, something that the seller gives you in escrow that talks about the problems that they've encountered or changes that they made, renovations, painting, everything, If you see this document, which you will as part of the process, make sure your agent goes through it with you so you understand what the seller is claiming with regard to their house. If you have to do a further inspection, or maybe you've gone out to the house and they mentioned something, you're there with your home inspector, it's not a bad idea to drop that bomb on them and say, hey, listen, in the disclosures, the seller mentioned that they had a leak in the attic from the roof, and I would like you to at least see what's going on. Sometimes they'll come back and say, thank God you told me about it. I wouldn't have seen it because maybe things were covered up, maybe things were fixed very well, but at least it lets them put their eyes on it to make sure that it was a complete, the status, the upgrade, whatever was done the correct way. I guess is the best way to put it. I'm Connor with Honor. Thank you so much for watching today's real estate update. We will be back tomorrow, and I do appreciate you more than you know. When you're ready, share this video and please reach out, and don't forget to subscribe.